Hello, beautiful people. It's your boy Del from Fix It Mental. I did again, guys. I did again. We'll dive right into it. Today, what are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about talk is cheap, guys. Talk is cheap. Everybody can talk. Everybody can say what they want to say. Everybody can feel what they want to feel till they actually find themselves in the situation where they didn't expect. Then suddenly all your wisdom and ideas are gone. Everything disappears. What does this tell us in life, guys? Most of the time we like to judge others, we like to point fingers, all right? We like to act like the smart people in the room. I mean, we have all the answers, we have the solution, to these problems of life. But the reality is, it's easy to judge. It's easy to think you know. It's easy to think you have all the answers until you find yourself in that same situation. Sometimes in life, we look at people and we ask ourselves, but why did they do this? Why did they react a particular way? They could have done better. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But you can't be so sure until you find yourself in the same scenario, all right? There are some people who have suffered from poverty and have resorted to prostitution. There are some people who have suffered from poverty and have resorted to stealing. There are some people who have suffered from poverty and have resorted to killing. All right? People react to situations in a different way, but we are not in the place to judge. We are not in the place to act high and mighty. Because if you have not found yourself in that particular scenario, you wouldn't know how you will react specifically. You would know how you're going to assess the situation specifically. But oftentimes in life, we feel like because we have not been faced with this same predicament, because life has thrown at us different coins, different experiences, we feel like we are the smartest. Like they say, you're smart or you feel you are till life throws the same thing at you. If you have not faced difficulties in life or the exact same problem someone is going through, talk will always be cheap. It's easy to give advice when you're not facing the problem. It's easy to think you have it all figured out when you're not facing the problem. But as people who think positive, who want to grow, I'll tell you today, guys, it's better to look at people from the point of empathy. Cut people some slack. Look at people with the willingness, the desire to learn. Learn from their mistakes. Don't condemn them for their mistakes. Because the more mistakes you make, the more you learn. It's only a fool that will look at the downfall of one and laugh. A wise man will look at what they will learn and take out of their soul as not to make the same mistake. Words are important. What you say to someone is important. How you say it is important. Anything you say has an effect on the listener. It's either a profit or a loss. Profit as in it builds them mentally. It helps them, guide them to the decisions they have to make. It makes them gain wisdom, emotional maturity. It can cause them negatively as in you disturb their mental progress. You make them feel less of themselves. So before you speak to someone, guys, analyze your words. Let there be empathy in your words. Know what you're saying, how you say it. Do not be quick to judge, but always take our time to listen, to understand, to find yourself in the shoes of the other. Because unless you find yourself in a particular situation, unless you find yourself in a particular scenario, unless you find yourself going through some particular difficulty in life, trust me, guys, I can say this with all conviction, you will never be sure of how you are going to react. Most oftentimes, for example, people will be like, oh no, if you have like burglars, they break into your house and they're like, they point a gun at you, you can fight your way out. It's easy to say. Till you actually find yourself in the situation where you have a gun pointed at the back of your head. Then you actually know the difference between what you think and reality. What you think and what is reality are two different sides. Two different sides, guys, trust me. So it's easy to give advice when you have not been faced with the same predicament. It's easy to give advice when you have not found yourself in the same situation. But I bet you, if you keep thinking you're smart, Trust me, when life hits you and you go down, you will never stand back up. If you keep thinking people always make wrong decisions and you have all the right ones, trust me, when life knocks you down, you will not get back up. So at the end of the day, you have to come to understand people always take things based on the cards life has dealt them. The cards life has dealt me is not the same as you. I cannot judge you from my experience of life. You have your experience, you have your things to deal with, and I can only try to understand you, listen to you, empathize with you, and give you my opinion on what could have been done better. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make me a Superman. All right? But unless you find yourself in a scenario, you can never be sure of how you will react. Never say never. Never say I can't do this. Never say I can't do that. When you find yourself in a particular situation, trust me, most of us are going to bend. Most of us are going to be terrified at what life throws at us. Most of us are going to want to give up. But it's easy to point fingers at others, like, hey, they're giving up. Hey, she's giving up. Hey, he's giving up. Talk is cheap, guys. Talk is cheap, but action isn't. Talk is cheap, but consistency isn't. Talk is cheap, but understanding isn't. Talk is cheap, but rising up after you fall isn't. So let's take our time to understand that life hits people differently, and instead of judging, let us empathize with them. Let us be supportive. Let us be active listeners. And not those who come in to condemn, but those who come in to save. Guys, remember to share. Subscribe. Let's get the word out, guys. Let's get the word out. Let's make this happen. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get the word out there. We need to stay positive. We need to make our minds as strong, as the walls of Jericho, guys. Come on.